Welcome back to the wonderful world of fantasy football head-to-heads, and today's edition is a bit of a blockbuster if we don't say so ourselves. A battle of colour, identity, fabulous teams and flamboyant managers. This is the mattress makers against the yellow and blacks, Atlético de Madrid against Borussia Dortmund, and more specifically the Atlético de Madrid team of 2014 to 2016 and Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund side of just a couple of years earlier, around 2011 to 2013. Strap yourself in, because Klopp and his companion Diego Simeone take absolutely no prisoners. Two of Europe's trickiest sides, Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid, are undoubtedly overshadowed by their enemies, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. In fact, 2013 Dortmund lost the Champions League final to Munich, and even more painstakingly, Atletico lost to city rivals Real in both the 2014 and 2016 finals. But alas, they have a lot to shout about and are special teams in their own right with their own amazing histories. It's only a testament to the likes of Klopp and Simeone that they built teams good enough to compete with the top European giants like Munich and Madrid in the 2010s. Sadly, during the era in question, around 2011 to 2016, these two wonderful teams didn't manage to play against each other. It wouldn't be until 2018 that they faced off, but at that stage, Klopp was long gone and the teams had changed quite a bit. Interestingly though, both teams won their home game against each other in the Champions League group stage, and both teams finished the group on 13 points, sealing the top two spots to reach the next round of the competition. But as we said, however, in the early 2010s, these clubs avoided what would have been a dream matchup. First of all, both club kits, colours and identities are so well known by football fans worldwide, and in recent years, part of that identity has been the rampant underdog, the title that these teams have had in Europe and in their own countries. Fueled by the fire that was Klopp and still is Simeone, these two managed to punch above their weight and win league titles and reach Champions League finals in stunning fashion. They took some big scalps along the way too, and came so close to sealing the ultimate European underdog glory. Despite being underdogs, however, these teams took on very different tactical approaches when it came to competing at the top level. Simeone's side for years now have been renowned for dogged defending, a fearsome mentality and will to win, and at times as much play acting as they feel is necessary, with the typical Diego drama thrown in between. Klopp's team on the other hand received more plaudits for their style of football. The emergence of gegenpressing saw them asphyxiate teams high up the pitch instead of the Simeone style of cat and mouse. Where Atletico waited in a red and white wall to stop their opponents and disrupt the flow, Klopp's yellow wall went searching for danger in what he called heavy metal football. More risk and more reward was the name of the game, as the German side looked to press defences fast and high, winning the ball back in great positions to counter-strike immediately. Whatever you made of their style though, eventually in their own way, both of these sides triumphed over their fearsome adversaries at home. Where they fell short in Europe, they were successful in their domestic leagues. Atletico Madrid managed to win La Liga in 2014, even though Barcelona and Real Madrid were at large with Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo at the peak of their powers. Borussia Dortmund even went one better. Under Jurgen Klopp, they managed to outshine Bayern and win historic back-to-back Bundesliga titles in 2010-11 and 2011-12. Both sides showed magic moments and mesmerising desire to overcome all the odds, and that's why we think an epic battle between these two great sides would have been an epic battle to the death. Both teams of course have superstar coaches, but they also boasted some superstar players. Dortmund's spell-binding football was provided by the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Mats Hummels, Marco Reus, Mario Götze and Ilkay Gundogan. What a lineup! A pretty incredible group of names, eh? It's a tragedy that Dortmund didn't manage to win the Champions League with that group in 2013. Their football, like the atmosphere in their stadium, was infectious, so much so that it even swept up Real Madrid in the 2013 Champions League semi-finals. Nobody was feared in the Westfalenstadion. Between 2014 and 2016, Atletico didn't have half a bad team either. The likes of Antoine Griezmann, David Villa, Diego Costa, Koke and Diego Godin were all key components during those high-flying years. all of them world class, and all of them moulded into the Atletico Madrid way by their boss Simeone. As important as part of their unit just as much as they were as individuals, like Dortmund, also famous for having a never say die spirit. To see these two go head to head in a Champions League semi-final over 2 legs would probably be the ultimate football knockout round. It would be chaos, it would be chess, it would be everything in between, blood, sweat and tears, colour and fireworks. But who do you think would come out on top? So both of these teams proved that they could win a league title against the odds, and they both proved that they could beat anybody in Europe until they got to the final. Dortmund went 1-0 up in their date with destiny at Wembley, but were later undone by 2 Bayern goals, losing the final 2-1. Atletico Madrid lost twice to city rivals Real after drawing the game after 90 minutes. In 2014 they were eventually seen off comfortably by 3 extra time goals, but in 2016 Real Madrid needed penalties to beat them. Either way, in both games Atletico Madrid were oh so close but oh so far. Borussia Dortmund won both of their league titles comfortably with 75 points firstly and then 81 points the year later. Bayern didn't prove as stern opposition as you might expect, and also keep in mind they play 4 less league games in Germany, so hitting the 90s on the point scale is pretty impossible. That said, in 2014, Atletico Madrid racked up 90 points, with Barcelona and Real Madrid hot on their tails, both with 87. In fact, Los Colchoneros sealed their title with a 1-1 draw at the Nou Camp, on a day which might have been set up perfectly for Barca, but in typical Atletico fashion, they dug in deep and did what was required. If these two iconic sides met, it would be so interesting to see how they would deal with the atmosphere of the opposing side, as both of these teams have some of the most boisterous home support in Europe. For what it's worth, the 2018 results would suggest that the home advantage would be massive, Atletico obviously beating Dortmund 2-0 at home, but in Germany falling to a 4-0 defeat. It would also be an interesting mix of styles. How would Dortmund's free-flowing football be met by Simeone's stifling defensive play? Would the Madrid boys be able to get under Klopp's skin? Cause some nerves and then hit them on the counter-attack perhaps? Sometimes these are the worst types of opponents for positive attacking teams, like Klopp's Dortmund. His Liverpool team in fact has since struggled in Europe against Simeone's Atletico. However, maybe just like many sides, Atletico would simply be blown away by a dominant Dortmund that would be able to strike before Atletico could even realise. After all, we are talking about peak Lewandowski, Reus and Götze. Record setters and World Cup winners alike. It's a mouth-watering matchup and one we are delighted to share with you. But how do you see it? We're sitting on the fence for this one. Both teams amazing achievements, amazing players and amazing records. But who takes it? It's impossible to call. Let us know your predictions in the comments, how you think these teams would fare and why. Leave us your suggestions for the next video and make sure to hit that subscribe button. See you next time.